Hey, founders, are you wondering about what to either invest in or cut back on as you move towards selling your business, either to prove to the buyer that you're scaling your business or moving it to the next level, or to improve your EBITDA by cutting certain expenses? These are both really, really relevant questions. So, on the what should you add or spend on, run the business like you're going to keep running the business. Don't make decisions just around the idea that you're going to sell the business because that might end up looking like something you have to defend. It might end up feeling a little bit, gimmicky to a buyer. They're going to probably be able to spot it. If you're thinking that you need to move to an expensive and complicated new ERP system or change over the CRM to professionalize your kind of pipeline function, or you're starting to do more budgeting and forecasting, or you're thinking about hiring more salespeople or entering into some joint ventures, do those things if you would do them anyway, not just to get credit for them. But don't do them to show the buyer that you're scaling the business, because those can be covered in terms of kind of your growth plan in the confidential information memorandum, the pitch deck that your advisor is going to use to introduce the ways that you would grow the business if you continued to run it. And if they negatively impact your EBITDA, you might get a lower multiple for being forward thinking about that. The other thing too is on those expenses, if you've got a big one-time expense, but it should be amortized over a bunch of years, make sure you're doing that the right way so that when you actually do your adjusted EBITDA, you're not hurting it by having made that big one-time expense that should be amortized over a number of years. What should you cut back on? Essentially, you're going to get to add back your one-time expenses like, legal settlements or taking care of something that is not kind of part of normal operations. You're going to be able to add back your owner impacts, running your personal car and travel through the business. You'll be able to add those things back. Don't do big capital expenditures in the year before that you're going to market. So kind of the flip side of the other question, don't necessarily do those things right before you're going to go, because they're going to negatively impact EBITDA, and your advisor and or you will be able to argue that the buyer should be looking at a more normalized EBITDA number or even a post-scaling number after the effects of that expense is done, but they won't. They'll fight you on it. And ultimately, you're just probably not going to be able to win that fight. So it is better in that sense to maybe put that one off. This is something to talk to your advisors about, but any big one-time expense, you're probably going to want to either put that off or talk to your advisors about it before you go, especially if it's going to negatively impact EBITDA and create an argument about how the buyer ought to be looking at your company, because ultimately they won't really listen to you about how they ought to be looking at it. And there's only so much your advisor is going to be able to do. All right. So those are great questions. Glad you're asking them. Stay tuned for more answers soon.